Welcome to the channel. Things are starting to green up. As you can see, the hay fields are greening up, trees are starting to get their buds, birds are starting to sing. We still have a long way to go, obviously. The cold has just been really hanging on. It doesn't want to give up, but the warm temperatures within the next 10 days, 10-day outlook is we're starting to get up there a little bit better during the day, about 60s, give or take. So today's video, we're going to basically tour the wheat fields and kind of see how those are making out. One of them, which I guess I thought was going to be the worst, actually appears to be kind of the best. It's kind of strange. Could be a fertilizer issue. Maybe we're lacking some nutrients. I don't know. Maybe I have to apply some nitrogen. I really don't know because I didn't do a soil test yet. That is on the list of things to do. So I can do an early spring application if I need to. But in saying that, we're going to do that. And then we're also going to try and prep some of the electric fence that was knocked down. And at the same time, some of the stakes are actually contacting the fence. So right before we moved the goats into the barn, we had an issue with the fence grounding out, and that's kind of what I have to get ready for, because with everything else growing and greening up, the pasture also is too. So goats being moved out is also moving closer. Here is field number 1 with wheat. This is probably only a half acre, not a very big plot at all. Now you can, I didn't do end rows here because I had the ability to just drive straight through with this being grass. Right here in this area, we really didn't get anything to grow. I don't know, maybe I didn't bring the seed drill that far. I don't know, looks like it did. Originally in the fall when I had planted this, it did not look like I had a really good growth of anything. I mean, it just, compared to the other fields, it really didn't seem like this field was doing very well in the fall. Now here in the spring, things have really changed. I mean, you can definitely see out through there, and the stand is pretty good. We do have some grasses mixed in through here. Oh, there's a lot of grass in here, so kind of weighing my options if I need to put a herbicide on here. There's not really, that I've seen yet, there's not really a lot of broadleaf type stuff. It's mostly just grasses, but there's a lot of it mixed in here and there. So I'm really thinking I'm probably gonna have to, there's actually some broadleaf there. So I'm thinking I may end up having to do some kind of burn down on this to try and control those grasses, something that obviously won't hurt the wheat. So I'll have to look into that. But it's really green, and it's a lot of areas it's really good and tall too, compared to some of the other fields. Right here is a really good example. I mean, this is a good 8 inches probably tall. Now the whole field's not like this, and it's definitely spotty. And this is a field that we had a lot of clumps, as you can see, and that's another area where we have grasses coming up through. And this was our first field with using the drill also, so I was kind of still working out some bugs with that, where to run the tires and so on and so forth. So some of it is a little bit of human error. Here again, big spot right here where it's really good and thick, and maybe on camera it looks a lot worse than it is too. It is definitely a little spotty here and there. It's not the best looking. So again, I need to do a soil test on this for sure, and all the fields for that matter. It's not hateful, honestly, compared to what I thought it was going to be. I thought this field was actually not going to amount to anything. So all things considered, I guess not hateful, but could be definitely better. One thing I've noticed walking through this field is there's a lot of areas where you can see it's just clipped. You can see where it's been eaten, which I'm assuming is probably deer, more than likely. I mean, really, it's pretty much a blanket of green. There's obviously some spots where I wasn't close enough, but the field overall is not, it doesn't have like, it's pretty green. It doesn't have like a yellow look to it, but a soil test will definitely tell us more than just color. Next, we have the upper field. This is about 2 acres, I believe, up here. This is up at mom and dad's. This field, I guess I call this a little bit worse because nowhere near as tall. Now this field is definitely rockiest field on the farm. There's no doubt about that. You can see just walking out through here. I mean, it's not like boulders, but it's all rock. You can see it plain as day. So I'm sure as far as nutrient values go, I'm sure it lacks. And it's just a hard field to plant, more or less. You can really see the lines out through there. I'm almost betting this field's definitely gonna need something. Nitrogen. Because it's just not very tall. Not at all. I mean, the tallest that we have is gonna be out at that far end. Overall, it doesn't look bad with the lines and everything you can see going out through. I don't know that we have, I think the more I look at things, and some of the rocks and whatever didn't help, but it almost seems like our seed rate could have been just a touch higher. It's not terrible, but it does seem like it is a little bit on the lower end of things. It's definitely a blanket of green up here. I mean, it looks nice going out through there. It's not really anything like that. Same thing here. Definitely need to soil test. Right there's a thicker spot, and that's where everything kind of overlapped. But coming down into here, which is actually where we plowed up and a lot of the grass was tilled in. This, for some reason, there's not a whole lot of grass mixed in here. A little bit here and there, but the wheat is just taller. That's grass right there, 100%. And I'm not really sure why. This was a little bit heavier of a rate that somehow got pushed there. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at with this field. So we'll see how it does, see what happens. This is my first year doing anything wheat related, so could be a very big learning experience for me, I guess. Also, maybe I didn't do stuff right. I don't know. We'll see. I'll do some soil testing and go from there and kind of see where things are at. And then maybe at that point, if we can apply something, things may change. Maybe it'll really spark it up. So now I'll go to the third and final field. And even so, right here's another good example. Really good and tall, right along the edge here. And it's just some thin spots. So I don't know. Could be some deficiencies. I'll have to check and see where we're at. This top side right here along the woods really, it's probably the worst spot of the field. And I don't think the rocks in here helped us at all. Not one bit. Here is the third and final field. Same thing here. This is not the best, I guess. I feel like where it should be. Because what's going to end up happening, and we have some deer pressure here also. You can see they're kind of taken away from it. But I feel like what's going to end up happening here is it's not going to kind of close the gaps quick enough, and we're going to end up with a lot of weeds that we're either not going to be able to manage, or it's just going to completely overtake the wheat completely and we won't be able to get anything out of it. Not hateful. It doesn't look terrible out through here. This was our quote-unquote cornfield last year that didn't do good at all. We ended up mowing 3/4 of it off because we didn't manage the weeds in time, and that's what I don't want to happen with the wheat. So this field doesn't look hateful. It doesn't look too bad. There is an area, actually, I think right in that bare spot that is kind of rocky, shaly because it got dug down. And that, I think, is obviously there's nothing going to grow there because there's no nutrients in shale or rock. Right in these end rows here look pretty good, other than the fact that I wasn't close enough on either side, but not too terrible. So that's kind of where we're at with the wheat. I got to do some soil testing, see what I need to do as far as fertilizer, take a closer look, see where we're at with weeds and kind of what for herbicide that I can probably throw on here. Because I don't know, I know in some of the, in like at least one of the fields for sure, we have a lot of grass that we're going to be dealing with, where as in here, there's no grass. But down the road, you know, it goes a week or two, we might end up start really seeing some broadleaf. I don't know. I'll have to monitor that and see. But that's where the wheat fields stand at this current point in time. So now we'll keep monitoring everything and just kind of keep an eye on it, get our soil test done, see what we need to do with fertilizer and or nitrogen, whatever it really comes up as, and go from there. And then we'll kind of see where we're at. I have a feeling it's probably going to need some nitrogen, and we probably should be doing that now. But again, soil test will tell us all that. So now we're going to jump down to the fence and get that figured out, I guess, and see what all, hopefully we don't have to really change anything, move things around. I think it's just moving some stakes out, and I know one of the insulators actually broke off, so that's an issue in itself too, but I think it's all things that we can address easily. Check out this neat rock I just found. This is very stupid, and I don't know why, but it caught my eye. It's kind of neat. I don't know why. All right, now the electric fence. Yeah, that's what broke off. Because that, yeah, it actually, apparently that was pulled very tight, which is kind of what I wanted. So I don't know if I have another one of them or not laying around, hopefully, because I think I only need one. And I don't really have one that I could rob. I could probably rob one of those, maybe. I'll see what I have, but that's the first thing that needs fixed, and then we can address this. Is actually loose. I can pull that right out of the ground. Everything looks good here. I don't know if that fell over more. It kind of, yeah, it kind of looks like that fell over. I don't remember that being that much of an angle. I don't think that's really going to affect anything because it's not touching anywhere. I don't like that it's loose. But again, it's probably going to be fine because it is not touching down through here. And up here it's close, but not anything that I think is going to cause an issue. It's close right here, but I might be able to stretch that out. Like that. And we'll just work our way around. Everything's good right here. Nothing's touching. Here we're getting a little close. Still not touching though. Same thing here. At the top, it's getting close, a little close for comfort. Really a close spot. It's not touching, but if it gets windy enough, I bet it could. So that's gonna be an instance again, probably an insulator right there. And even over here. It's amazing how the wire changes over time. The big mess is over on the other side, as you can see. The boys made a terrible mess out of all that. And they were rubbing on the wire so bad that I had to add that last summer, a secondary wire on the inside, because they were sticking their heads through to the girls between on both sides. So that's kind of why that had to happen. There's definitely some close areas out through here. I think if we just get some stakes, this one right here we're touching, but that's kind of an issue where these stakes are not in the ground because they're broke from the boys, and then that whole mess over there, that one's touching, so that won't work. It's also loose in the ground. There we go. Much better. Same thing here. I don't know if this is like a freeze thaw thing that they just get loose and then tilt in, or if it's the I don't know what it is, because these were all away in the summer. There's another one all the way out there. Doesn't take much to pound those in, as soft as the ground is right now. That pretty much solves the doe pasture, other than this insulator here, because I don't have any more. And then the real problem side. This is just a mess. This one needs to come over and go here. Then there's two up here that are broke off. This one is kind of still in the ground. This one kind of in the ground. This one, you can see what they did. I mean, that's crazy to me. Pasture is growing very, very nice, I must say. Same thing kind of over there. There's a little bit more weeds over there, but definitely a lot of grass. New stakes. This is not a long-term solution. These are gonna rot off pretty fast underground, but I had them laying around, so that means we use them. Like that. Big progress in a short amount of time. This looked a lot worse than I guess it actually was. These stakes are all in pretty good shape, other than that one that I had to break off. I had to add, what, 3 zip ties, I think. The wire's not as tight as it could be. Zip tying is not, it's not the ideal way to do this, but this is all temporary. None of this stuff is gonna be permanent, but it just needs to be able to work for now. So I need to add another zip tie, it looks like, up here. Move this one actually and put it there. Must not have had one here. That's not an issue. The wire is pretty much good where it is now. The bottom wire there could use a little bit of tension. I don't think it's anything too major. The biggest problem is going to be this other side. You can see how floppy that is. And that is mainly because these stakes are broke, I think, in the ground. I'll try and hammer this one in, and that would probably fix our problems, because it's this one and that one. The rest of them are fine. If I need to, I can add one of those stakes. I have not had to put a stake in yet. So if I don't have to add any of them, we're definitely further ahead. as this rots off, it's gonna touch. That will never work. And now I'm caught on the fence. Paisley's waiting for this groundhog to come out. You waiting for the groundhog to come out? Huh? You waiting for the hog? I'm sure he's in there. You keep guard. She's still up there keeping watch. I'm ready for goats, and that's a plus. I was not anticipating getting this done, I guess, that early, but it worked out, especially having that insulator, spare insulator that I could rob, I guess. I'm not gonna move them out right now. I'm gonna let this grow a little bit more, because I feel like I've learned the earlier I move them out, the quicker that they demolish the pasture, and then the more hay I have to feed. So yeah, it's probably too small of a pasture, I would probably agree with, but for right now, this is what we have, so it works. I mean, I let it grow up probably another month or so, 3 weeks, something like that, and then I can move them out here, and it does provide quite a bit of food for at least a little while. So I'm glad that's done. I'm glad we're ready for that, because we needed to fix that obviously before we could even move them out here, and we are getting closer to that. So that gives you a tour of the wheat fields, and we fixed the fence. So I have some homework to do as far as the wheat goes, and if anybody has any tips, tricks, be sure to let it in the comments section below. I'm always open ears, because I am new to this. There's a lot of stuff I haven't done, and there's a lot of stuff that I'm still learning on, clearly. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, drop a like, and I hope you have a great day. It is warm, it is sunny. Warm weather is upon us. I'll see you next time.